In a small, quiet village, lived a man named Arjun. Now Arjun wasn't your typical villager. At 35, he still lived with his father, a hard-working farmer who greeted the sun every single morning, his hands calloused from years of tilling the soil. Arjun, however, had different dreams. He wasn't interested in the soil. He was interested in what could make working the soil easier. He dreamt of building incredible machines, futuristic marvels that would revolutionize farming and lift the burden from his father's stooped shoulders. Arjun was brilliant. He could look at a problem and see 10 different solutions. His mind was a whirlwind of gears, levers, and blueprints. But he had a fatal flaw, a single weakness that kept his genius locked away. He was incredibly lazy. Every morning, as his father headed to the fields, Arjun would find his favorite spot under the great banyan tree. There, he would spend hours, not studying, not building, but simply dreaming. He'd visualize his magnificent machines, hear the applause, and feel the pride. "I'll start building it tomorrow," he'd promise himself every single day. But as we all know, that kind of tomorrow is a horizon that you never quite reach. His father, a man of few words but deep wisdom, would often watch him. "Arjun," he'd say, his voice gentle but firm, "dreams are only worth something if you have the discipline to chase them. A dream without action is just a wish." Arjun would nod, agree, and then go right back to his daydreams the next morning. It was a comfortable cycle. Then, one day, news swept through the district like a wildfire. A grand farming competition was announced. The grand prize, full government funding for the winning invention. This was it. Arjun's heart pounded with excitement. This was his chance. The shortcut he'd been waiting for to prove his genius to everyone, to his father, and most of all, to himself. He scrambled for the first time in years. He didn't just dream. He built. He worked in frantic bursts of energy, pulling all-nighters, fueled by caffeine and the vision of victory. He cobbled together a prototype from spare parts and brilliant but untested ideas. On the day of the competition, he stood before the judges and the entire village, his chest puffed out with a nervous pride. He flicked the switch. The machine whirred. It clanked. It sputtered. And then, with a pathetic groan, it broke down into a pile of useless metal. The silence was deafening, broken only by a few scattered whispers and stifled laughs. Humiliation washed over Arjun, hot and heavy. He had never felt so small in his entire life. He had failed, publicly and spectacularly. That evening, he sat beside his father on the porch, the setting sun painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. He couldn't even look his father in the eye. He expected a lecture, an "I told you so." Instead, his father spoke softly, his gaze fixed on the fields. "Son," he said, "even the best seed in the world is useless if you don't water it daily. It needs consistent care, not just a flood of water the day before you expect a harvest." Those words struck Arjun deeper than the public failure ever could. It wasn't about his idea being bad, it was about his approach. He had treated his dream like a lottery ticket, instead of a garden that needed tending. That night, something inside him shifted. The lazy dreamer died, and a determined creator was born. From the very next day, Arjun's life transformed. He woke up with his father. Before the sun, he felt the soil in his hands, learned the rhythm of the land, and understood the problems he was trying to solve on a fundamental level. He worked in the fields by day, and by night. He didn't just dream. He meticulously designed, tested, and refined his machine. There were no shortcuts this time, only patience, focus, and relentless, daily effort. The work was hard, it was slow, and it was anything but glamorous. A year passed. Another competition was announced. This time, Arjun walked in not with frantic hope, but with quiet confidence. He presented his invention, a sleek, efficient, and robust machine born from a year of dedication. It worked flawlessly. The judges, the villagers, and his father watched in amazement as it performed tasks that once took hours, in mere minutes. Arjun won first prize. As he stood on the stage, holding the trophy high, the applause felt different this time. It wasn't the fantasy he had daydreamed about. It was real, earned through sweat and perseverance. He looked at his father in the crowd, who gave him a simple, proud nod. And in that moment of triumph, Arjun whispered a truth to himself that he would carry forever. Dreams don't work unless you do. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that inspires. We'll see you in the next one.